Hello, this is lSherlockl again from the Airsoft subreddit, and this is going to be part 2 of working with our hops. In part 1, we looked at making the patch itself and my method of doing that, and now we are going to flat hop our bucking for use with our hop. In this case, my stock bucking won't work for it because there is a nasty little gouge on it. So what I have is the Lonix 70-degree hop-up bucking. The 70 degree is a harder rubber than most of the other ones, or like a G&G green, which I also happen to have one sitting on my pegboard, but makes it a lot harder to turn it inside out, but the firmness of it, which you normally wouldn't want for a standard AAG, works well with the R-hop because the softer silicone patch is what is actually making contact with the BB, and the harder lip will provide a better seal and last a bit longer. Should at least, anyhow. So, to start out with, what you need to do is you need to turn it inside out, and it works usually best if you start from the far end. Basically, you need to get a little cuff going. Easier said than done. It's probably, actually, to me, one of the hardest parts of making an R-hop is getting the stupid bucking inside out without damaging it. Which has been more difficult, but, or you can start from this end and maybe use, I don't know, something to start turning it inside out. But anyhow, I'm going to go ahead and get it turned inside out and then just show you what you need to cut off and remove on the inside. I figured I'd show you quick my technique that I've sort of figured out works pretty good. So what I did is I started from here, and I have a screwdriver that's about the same size as a barrel round. So I start by pushing it kind of in from actually the feed lip side. Basically get it started curling around like this, so you can see the feed lips already made its way out. But I just rotate it around, applying or pushing on the outside of the collar, rotate it a bit, push on the outside of the collar, and then that's slowly but surely sliding, turning the bucking inside out. Like I said, you want to be real careful with this because we don't want to damage, stretch too much, or tear your bucking. And here we are, all done. Nice and smooth all the way around. All that is left to do is use some rubbing alcohol or denatured alcohol and clean off the inside of your bucking, so we don't want any oils or dust in there that's going to mess it up. And remember, like we said, we're going to use the section of it that you didn't sand. So when we put it back together, we'll have to kind of remember what it is and take a look at it. Okay, so here our bucking is inside out. I'm going to slide it over a barrel. This is a ZCI barrel. And there's two things that you need to remove. Your nub, or your hop-up mound, right there, as well as this bar here. So basically what we end up doing is remove any protrusions, so it's just a flat sleeve. We're going to turn it inside out, or back right side out, and then we're going to use the smooth side that we didn't touch with anything as the bearing surface on our R-hop. Also, the same technique is used if you just want a flat hop bucking as well. So, put that back on. Once again, I'm using a nice sharp new razor, and I'm going to carefully shave off. You don't want to remove too much material here and ruin the integrity of your bucking. So then you'll need to get a new bucking and start over again. Cutting too much means you'll interfere with the air seal. Cutting too little means you'll interfere with the air seal, but there'll be a nice little bump. So on the top side, is pretty much complete. There's just a tiny bit hanging on next to the lip. So that's pretty good, but there's still a bit of rough spots there. So what you do then is, once again, we're using an emery bit, is you're going to carefully go over it. Mind you, you just want to be cleaning up the area that you cut, nothing more. To get a nice, smooth surface. And looking from the side, we still have to clean up a bit more up over here. It's always good to try and look at it from different angles. Well, that's the process. You do that, and you remove this as well, and then your flat hop bunking is good to go and mount over your R hop. And we are back. Here is our window, nice, or my hop-up patch, nice and cleanly installed. Here we have the bucking ready for install. So it's going to sit on here just like that. Make sure it's all the way on. And then it's going to sit right. That looks good. So now we are on. There's just a tiny little flap back here that's driving me nuts. But, so like I said before, we want to look and find where the line used to be. We're going to put those perpendicular to it. So it's going to sit on here like this. Now in this case, I'm going to do two things. I'm going to glue our flat hop bucking to the barrel, mainly to keep it from rotating, because we want to keep that nice smooth factory finish side against our R-hop patch. So to do that, I'm going to, once again, probably going to use my pin here, take a bit of our blue RTV silicone and thinly apply a bead around. This will also help with air seal, but I will also be doing a variation of sort of the dental floss mod as well, just to say that we ain't going to have anything getting past. I'm going to smooth this out and remove some of the excess ahead of time. Fill in the channel down there a bit. Now this doesn't really glue it tight. It's more of like a holding force. Doesn't take too much to get it back apart if you needed to. So once again, I'm going to check my reference points here, so I know that I'm putting it on, so we'll have a nice clean section over the hop-up window. Then carefully sort of wiggle her on. Okay, so that is on there good. Take a little piece of paper towel here, and I'm going to apply some pressure on the end. You want to be careful not to rotate the bucking now until it dries. But go in and remove our excess RTV silicone. There's probably going to be some squeeze out in just a second here. So there's our bottom. We'll use this still to tell us which side's which. And now for my variation of the dental floss mod. I have a piece of string here, or your dental floss. Whatever works. This is actually fly tying thread, what I will be wrapping it with here shortly. So that's our loop. So we're going to wrap it, stick the ends through the loop, plug back through. We're going to be using some nice Kevlar thread. So should give us a nice tight wind. So there we go. Got her started. Go around here a good couple times. Trick is to apply pressure without letting the bucking slip. And we don't want to apply too much pressure and risk cutting through the bucking, but I feel this should give us a good seal. So, actually, stuff's a bit too fine actually to cut with a normal scissors. It's quite strong, like I said, it's Kevlar. It's actually kind of fibrous, like your dental floss, so it'll lay flat. And we're going to put both of these ends through our pull loop here. And now, grabbing that other string, we can take the loop, carefully pull her back through, and pull our ends through like so. So they do not stick out. Nip the ends up close. And now we have a very thoroughly sealed bucking. I defy any air leaks to get past this. So again, we can have a tiny bit more squeeze out. Oops. And I wipe some back on. Let's get a clean piece. And we're going to make sure that these end pieces here squeeze it out because they seem to want to have flared out a bit. Not bad either to seal against the barrel. But ta-da! We have fully hopped our barrel. And just real quick, I'll pull BB out here. I'll prove that actually this BB's swollen. Perfect example. Do your testing with new BBs. I just have a tub of BBs that have fallen out of mags and whatnot, but we use all biodegradables. And that went through there nice and cleanly. So, we are good to go. This concludes flat hopping. Our hop, I will probably have a follow-up video on packings or nubs and the rest of the hop-up unit.